During the spring and autumn period, a young nobleman was on the run and passed by a county town. His attendant said, "The official here is an old acquaintance of yours. Why don't you take a rest and wait for the carriages following behind?" The young nobleman replied, "I'm fond of music, and this man sent me a famous musical instrument. I love beautiful jade, and he sent me jade pieces. This man is someone who caters to my preferences and thus exacerbates my faults. I'm afraid he might use me to curry favor with others." So he quickly left. Later, this man indeed detained the young nobleman's following carriages and presented them to his new master. The young nobleman was able to recognize that the official who sent him the famous musical instrument and beautiful jade was merely catering to his preferences, and that it was not a genuine friendship of a nobleman. He understood that there might be ulterior motives behind such behavior. Perhaps this official would betray him at any time for the sake of benefits. He also associated it with the possibility that the official might resort to any means for the sake of benefits in other matters as well. Through this trifling matter, he had a profound understanding of the official's character. This way of seeing the big picture from a small incident and the ability to see through the surface to the essence helped him avoid potential risks. After realizing the nature of the official and the potential risks, he resolutely chose to leave quickly without lingering or hesitating too much. This decisive decision-making ability enabled him to avoid possible dangers in a timely manner and avoid getting into a passive situation. When facing complex situations and urgent problems, decisive decision-making ability often helps people seize the opportunity and reduce losses. In the Tang dynasty, a marshal had served as the commander of the imperial army for a long time. His power was astonishing. The emperor wanted to send someone to replace him but was afraid that he would rebel. So he asked the prime minister. The prime minister said, "This matter is not worth worrying about." One day, the prime minister invited the commander to come to the palace. They chatted in a room for 3 hours. During this time, the emperor reappointed a commander who peacefully took over the army. The emperor's desire to replace the commander with excessive power reflects the highest ruler's need for power balance. A person who has served as the commander of the imperial army for a long time may accumulate too much power and pose a threat to the imperial power. The prime minister's invitation to the commander to come to the palace for a chat is a typical case of luring the tiger out of the mountain. Removing the commander from the military environment where he is familiar and has absolute control makes him temporarily lose direct command over the army. This strategy effectively cuts off the immediate connection between the commander and the army and creates a time window for the emperor to reappoint a commander to take over the army. The whole process did not cause rebellion or large-scale military turmoil and achieved a peaceful transition of military command. Through this series of means, the emperor regained control of military command, which is an important measure to maintain his own ruling position politically. In the feudal dynasty's political system, the emperor must ensure that power is concentrated in his own hands and must balance and control any forces that may threaten imperial power. A wealthy man was on a boat passing under a bridge when a man carrying manure poured it into his boat, splashing the wealthy man's clothes. This man was actually known to the wealthy man. The servant was very angry and wanted to hit him. The wealthy man said, "He did this because he didn't know. If he had known it was me, how could he have offended me?" So he sent the man away without punishing him. After returning home, the wealthy man looked through the debt ledger and found out that this man owed 30 pounds and was unable to repay it, and he even wanted to seek death because of this. After thinking for a while, the wealthy man then tore up his bond and forgave his debt. When the man carrying manure soiled the wealthy man's clothes, the wealthy man didn't get angry and punish him immediately. Instead, he considered the matter from the other person's perspective, thinking that he did it because he didn't know. This showed his ability to put himself in others' shoes. This way of understanding others can avoid unnecessary conflicts caused by momentary impulse, maintain the harmony of interpersonal relationships, and also reflect that the wealthy man has a broad mind and the capacity to tolerate others. Facing the offense of the man carrying manure, the wealthy man chose to resolve it with tolerance and didn't hold it against him. This is a very clever way to handle contradictions. In life, if many small frictions can be treated with tolerance, it can often defuse the conflicts that might escalate into something serious and achieve better results than taking tough retaliatory measures. After returning home, the wealthy man looked through the ledger and found that the man carrying manure owed 30 pounds and was unable to repay it and even wanted to seek death because of this. This indicates that the wealthy man has a certain degree of insight. He could detect the possible hidden circumstances from the seemingly inadvertent offensive behavior of the man carrying manure before. He didn't just stop at the surface of the incident but delve deeper into the possible reasons behind it. After discerning the predicament of the man carrying manure, the wealthy man resolutely tore up the bond and forgave his debt. This move was not only an expression of his understanding of the man's predicament but also a gracious act of doing a favor along with the situation. Through this, the wealthy man not only helped the man carrying manure solve the life and death problem but also won his gratitude and respect. In the long run, such a kind act will help enhance his reputation and enable him to reap more goodwill returns in social interactions. During the period of the state of Wu, the country was in a time of turmoil and many affairs. Troops should be cherished, and small mistakes of soldiers should be treated with tolerance. However, many military officers often hunted animals and gathered for drinking and merrymaking in the suburbs, disturbing the people. The king wanted to correct them by military law, but he was relying on their strength and could not offend them. The advisor said, "There is no need to use military law. Just order all counties to stop purchasing animals." Naturally, this kind of thing can be stopped. The king followed this plan. Within a month, no officer went hunting anymore. During a time of war, although military officers have misbehaviors, their strength is indispensable in military operations. When officers disturb the people and the king wants to correct this behavior, it reflects his concern for people's livelihood. But considering the stability and combat effectiveness of the army, the interests of different groups should be balanced. We should not only maintain the normal order of the army and ensure national military security, but also consider the feelings of the people and ensure social stability. The advisor's strategy of ordering all counties to stop purchasing animals to curb officers' hunting behavior is a clever roundabout tactic. It avoids direct conflict with officers and cuts off the interest chain of officers' hunting behavior from the root. When facing strong resistance or complex interpersonal relationships, direct confrontation may not be the best way. We can find the key links of problems and adopt indirect means to achieve the purpose of solving problems.
More detail, more story, follow me, please.